I might not be factually correct on every single detail here and do your own research, but from what I gather, and I look to the internet, and who the hell knows, right? I mean, it's the internet, so you don't know what's true, what's fake. But from what I gather, FDR, he was the only president to have 4 terms. He, from what I gather, what I seen, what I read, he ran on lower taxes, and then he just did the opposite when he got elected president in 1932. So, uh, why do I talk about FDR? Because I think that a lot of his policies probably prolonged the depression. Um, and with the raising taxes, having more social programs, extending bigger government, um, not getting to the root cause of what caused the crash to begin with. What caused the crash? Well, over lending. Pretty much, kind of like what happened in 2008, where we had to bail out all the banks because they over they overfunded, they overloaned people that couldn't afford to pay their loans, um, and they defaulted on those loans. I'm guessing that's probably what contributed a lot to the stock market crash. And in my opinion, I think some big whales intentionally crash it on purpose. Um, I think that taxation, the Federal Reserve, um, the IRS, I think they're all in cahoots together. Um, Also, with the depression, from what I've gathered is the Fed, the Federal Reserve, which is a private bank and is not a part of our government. They just work. They're just like they're a private company. They took money out of circulation, so um, that's what really caused problems. Now, it's kind of weird because I seen that he started printing out a bunch of money. Um, Maybe they took money out and then it caused some severe problems, and then they just like threw it all back in, and just like you can't just do that. You can't just yo-yo like that. My problem is, and the whole reason I'm making this video is because the gold confiscation that they had. So back in 1933, FDR made it so you had to turn in all your gold. I think you can keep some precious coins or something like that. Dentists could keep some gold, but the regular person had to turn in your gold, and you got $20 per ounce. And then after they got their gold from everybody, they they raised they set the number at $35 an ounce. Um, why wouldn't they make it 30? Why wouldn't they give everyone $35 an ounce back then? No, they wanted to stiff them because that's what the government does. Is a tax, right? That's that's all they do is tax us. That's all they do is rob us, and it's been happening for so long. And gold's legal now. So this is my point. This is my whole point to this whole video. Well, if they already confiscated our gold back in the day, if they have already had alcohol illegal back in the day, who's to say that it can't happen now? Now they can do it with Bitcoin, right? Say, well, back then it was you get $10,000 fine and 10 years in prison. I think it's up to today's standards. It'd be $129,000 fine. Um, and now it's legal, right? So if you have Bitcoin, right? They don't like it. They want power and control over us. They want us to be their peons. Um, that's why they tax us so much. There's so many different taxes that we have to pay. we're really just tax slaves at this point. We're, and especially the more that they print out, we're just slaves to them. And they want us on welfare because it doesn't matter. They want to give us they want power over us. So if we start acting out, they'll take away and we'll starve. They want to have that power. Um, but my whole point is, yeah, they can make Bitcoin illegal. They can go ahead and do that. Well, there's different ways around that. See, I can go ahead and take my Bitcoin and put it on a ledger and a hardware device, and I can bury it. I can put it somewhere else, and then you know when when things get better and Bitcoin becomes legal again, bam, I have my Bitcoin. Um, and yeah, this is the problem: is tyrannical governments. We have a tyrannical government. Our founding fathers would be disgusted in what our government has become over the last 100 years. Look at what we do. We want to talk about Russia interfering in our elections, and which they don't talk about, but China does too. But then look at how we manipulate other people's elections. We do that too. We interfere in other people's elections. Um, and in fact, we forcefully overthrow other people's countries like Iraq, um, and intentionally, you know, these politicians they they're like, hell yeah, we'll destroy this country, and then we'll invest in, was it Halliburton? So then we'll rebuild. Then we'll get paid a lot of money in stocks. They're so crooked because they have the insider information about what's going on. When the coronavirus came out, there's this Republican woman that lost in Georgia. I forgot her name, Leffler, I think. Well, her husband, from what I hear, this could be wrong, but from what I hear, right before the coronavirus happened, they sold their stocks and invested in Zoom, and then Zoom blew up and they made a ton of money. So they have insider information. These people are corrupt. Our government is corrupt. Um, the our fiat currency is look at the fiat currency we have. The dollar bill is the all seeing on top of a pyramid. We are the slaves to the top 1%. That's what that represents. And they don't like Bitcoin. They don't like gold. They don't like silver. And I think that they do manipulate silver prices and probably gold prices, and because that's what they want to do. Why would they want regular people to move up, to prosper, to be like them? They don't want to compete with us, so they just suppress us. Um, Listen, this is just my opinion. All right, I don't have 100% proof. I just look at history. I look at modern society, and I try to connect the dots with this and that, and politics, and all and maybe there's some details that I might have not 100% correct. I might have said something wrong, but listen, you have to open up your eyes and your mind, and figure out yourself and see what the hell's going on. See how they keep printing out all this money, and who the hell's going to pay for it. How can we have this system going forward? How can we only bring in 3.5 trillion g what's it, gross product income, it's income tax, um to our government through us a year, but then we spend a million more. Before the coronavirus, it was not a million, a trillion more. It was 4.5 trillion we were spending like every year before the coronavirus. Now we just added like 6 trillion to our debt. How are we going to sustain the system? The only way to sustain the system is through slavery, is through making people pay higher taxes and going without going with less, and giving making the people who are productive pay the high taxes, and the people who aren't productive, it doesn't matter. The system is corrupt. It is not. It is not true capitalism. It is crony capitalism. If it was true capitalism, we wouldn't be bailing everybody out. We wouldn't be getting stimulus for us. We wouldn't be bailing. We wouldn't be giving welfare to big companies. We wouldn't be giving welfare to um, banks like in 2008, which they'll probably want to be bailed out again because our government I don't know if these people I really don't think these people are really that dumb. I think they're intentionally trying to hurt us, and I don't even know if our election system is even valid. If it's I have no faith in this system at all. There's no faith, and this is not what our founding fathers envisioned at all. If they knew, if they seen this, I guarantee you our founding fathers would be revolting against this government. They called those riots on the Capitol Hill. I don't know if those were really riots. I mean, yeah, they broke the glass, but they didn't really go in there flipping and breaking everything. They weren't breaking. There was some idiot that stole a podium, but they weren't in Nancy Pelosi's office breaking her her computers. I think somebody stole a laptop or something, but there were some problems. But nobody said anything when the Kavanaugh hearing happened, and all these women started barging in, and they didn't call that an insurrection or riots. So it's just the media is they're definitely against us. Big tech is against us. They're not for the average worker. They say they are. They use us. They use us just like they say they're gonna do stuff for us, and they do the opposite. That's what they do. They don't care about us, and it should show you people that when they shut everything down, right? And they um, when they shut everything down with the lockdowns, and they kept the big companies open, but they shut the small businesses down, and they were supposed to give us stimulus after the first one, but then they were in like they weren't doing nothing for months. And because they wanted to put in all this stuff that doesn't make any sense, so they're not gonna agree. They don't care about us. They really don't. And Bitcoin might go to zero, and it could. But I like Bitcoin. I'm watching Peter Schiff, and he's saying that it's fool's gold, and it's garbage, and it has no purpose. And obviously, he's either ignorant and you got to be careful too with these people because they're trying to promote their own. They want, he's talking about how everyone's buying into Bitcoin, and they're trying to yell out and trying to promote it, saying that Bitcoin is so great. So that means it's a Ponzi scheme. Well, what is he doing? He's saying the same thing about gold, and he's like, oh, there's no. He obviously doesn't understand about technology. Now I like gold, I like silver, and I like Bitcoin, but if these people that sit there and want to hate on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, it's just like, okay, dude. I mean, you could sit there and keep your flip phone, and I'll have my smartphone that has everything on it. I mean, it's gonna be outdated. I don't think there's really going to be any purpose for it in going forward. It's just a store of wealth, really, just like Bitcoin's going to be. Um, I don't think that we can. I don't think Bitcoin is something that we can use as currency. I think we can use it as wealth, and we can leverage it, and we can, get loans against it and stuff like that. Um, but there's just too many. It's not feasible with the gas fees and all. That's what they call them. Their gas fees of transactions and all that. It's just not for like purchasing regular items. Maybe big ticket items, but nah. But yeah, it's just the reason why I want to make this video is because I heard him saying that Bitcoin's crap, and you know, uh, yes, and the government can say the Bitcoin's illegal, but they've already done it with gold, and who's to say that they can't do it with gold again? Um, and I just, you know, a lot of people just don't understand Bitcoin. Like you're basically your own bank, and to me being my own bank and having freedom without having to actually go to a bank, like a real bank, and them give me nothing, and my money, it's just like if I put my money in a bank or just like have it underneath my mattress, I lose buying power because of inflation. I don't care what they want to say. We don't have zero inflation, especially with this all this money printing. We might not have hyperinflation coming forward, but you know, to have zero inflation now, look at the gas prices that are going up. Look at food, it's going up. Look at rent. Look at rent. Look at housing. All that's going up. What is it? That's inflation. I mean, um, but yeah, I, I think that I'm looking at cryptocurrency and all this, and it could end up being fraudulent. I highly doubt. There's so many people, and there's smart people in it too. It's becoming more of a mainstream, and more people of establishment are getting into it, and people like Peter Schiff, who is highly intelligent, but when they say this stuff about it has no utility, it's worthless. And it's like, okay, if I have um $1 million and I have it in silver, physical silver, well, moving that physical silver it's gonna be pretty heavy. How about moving gold? I got $1 million in gold. That's gonna be heavy, right? Um, but if I want to move Bitcoin, I can move it way faster, and it's not physically heavy. There's a lot of utility to Bitcoin. And for anybody that says, "Oh, it's only for people that does bad things," well, you can see where the Bitcoin is right on the internet. You can see it's not like you can't see it. You can look it up and see what people have done with it, and 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 for anybody to say that, well, look at fiat currency. People buy stuff all the time illegally with fiat currency. So give me a break with all that. You know what I mean? Who Janet Yellen or whatever the hell her name is, they want, in my opinion, this is my opinion. I think they want to scare people. They see the potential in Bitcoin. They see the potential in cryptocurrency, and they want people to sell off. This is what they do. They scare people, so people sell off, and when they sell off, these elites swoop in, buy it up, pennies on the dollar, and then they have control of it now. I'm not selling my Bitcoin. No, thank you. Nope. I could probably, from what I hear, I can take a loan out, not have to pay taxes. Why would I want to pay capital gains on my Bitcoin? I'm not going to swing trade. I'm just holding it. I'm using it to store a value. And that's all I got.